Petit, mon rêve c'était de conduire une petite voiture et quand j'ai vu ça, première fois que je suis montée dans le kart, ça m'a plu.
Et quand tu vois après ton papa ou ta maman comme ça conduire en ville, tu leur donnes des conseils de conduite?
Oui.
Qu'est-ce que tu leur dis?
Je leur dis de respecter les feux rouges, de tout.
Charles Leclerc began karting at the age of 5, taking his first steps in motorsport at Prix, a circuit owned by the father of Jules Bianchi. By 2005, he had already entered competitive racing, immediately making an impact by winning the regional PACA championship in the mini class, claiming 15 victories from 18 races. He successfully defended this title in 2006, underlining his early dominance.
Oh! Ici, on regarde ici dans les yeux, là, on regarde.
Vas-y, prends les camarades là. Vas-y,
voilà, super. Lève le bras. Voilà.
In 2007, Leclerc stepped up to the Minimi category, where he won the Trophy Claude Sec and finished as runner-up in the PACA championship. His upward trajectory continued in 2008, finishing 5th in the Bridgestone Cup and 2nd in the French Championship, while also reclaiming the PACA title. By 2009, now competing in the cadet class, he secured both the French Championship and Bridgestone Cup, along with the Rhône-Alpes regional title. That same year, he began a partnership with Richard Mille, whose support would continue throughout his karting career.
Donc il va être très très heureux également, Charles Leclerc. Le meilleur tour, 49 secondes, 161 millièmes, Antoine Jouvenceau.
Leclerc made the transition to international karting in 2010, entering the junior KF3 category. That season, he became the youngest winner of the prestigious Monaco Kart Cup, held on the streets of his home circuit, the Monaco Kart Cup at the Circuit de Monaco. Despite finishing 29th on his World Cup debut, he impressed with a 5th-place result in the inaugural Academy Trophy and finished runner-up in the French Championship to Pierre Gasly.
Dahinter taucht bereits Charles Leclerc auf, die Startnummer 5. Er kommt vom 5. Platz und hat sich bereits bis auf Rang 3 nach vorne getobt. Ausfall eines zur Überrundung anstehenden, während die Spitze durchkommt. Dennis Olsen, Antoine Hubert und Charles Leclerc. Letzterer auf einem.
In 2011, Leclerc's talent caught the attention of Nicolas Todt, who signed him to all-road management following a recommendation from Bianchi. Todt arranged his move to Intrepid, where Leclerc achieved one of his most memorable victories by winning the World Cup at Sarno, later describing it as the best race of his karting career. That year, he also claimed titles in the Academy Trophy and Masters of Paris-Bercy, while finishing runner-up to Nicolas Nielsen in the WSK Final Cup.
Says just tuned in. Thanks for the great comps. Yeah, good to have you along, Mike. It's a funny one. This, not a great deal of engine atmosphere, I think. ESJ Racing says never seen these electric cars before in Oz, I presume. Can you tell me what horsepower they got, and what speeds they've got? Yeah, it's 34 horsepower, I believe. And yeah, the speeds they get up to 100 kilometers an hour, weigh 115 kilos, which is heavier than the standard carts that you may well own.
I hope to win this. I will do all my best. I have a really good mechanic. The engine is good, so I think we can do it. I just have to continue to work a lot, and I think all will be okay. But the race is not finished, and we will know if it will be good in Sunday.
In 2012, Leclerc stepped up to the senior KF2 category with the factory-backed ART Grand Prix team. He won the WSK Euro Series, although his season included a notable incident with Max Verstappen during the second round that resulted in both drivers being disqualified. He finished runner-up in the European Championship after a close title battle with Verstappen and Ben Barnicoat. He repeated this runner-up result at the Under-18 World Championship, missing the title by just a single point. Additional results included 5th-place finishes in both the World Cup and WSK Final Cup, and 4th at the SK USA Super Nationals.
Max, what happened? No, it's just unfair. I'm leading, he wants to pass, he pushed me, I push him back, and after he pushed me off the track. It's not fair, eh?
Thank you, Max. Charles Leclerc
Charles, what's happened with Max?
Nothing, just an incident on the race.
The following year, in 2013, Leclerc moved into the top-tier KZ gearbox class at just 15 years old. He began strongly, winning the South Garda Winter Cup in KZ2. Throughout the season, he finished 12th in the WSK Euro Series and 4th in the WSK Master Series. In the European Championship, he secured 6th overall, highlighted by a podium finish in the final round at Genk, in a closely fought battle to become the youngest ever KZ World Champion. He ultimately finished runner-up to Verstappen at Varennes-sur-Allier.
First race, under the rain we were very fast, but at the same speed of Max. And Max did an error, and so I could pass first, and then I stay at the first position because we were at the same speed, and at the last he was a bit faster at the last lap. And for the second race, in the 5-6 first lap, we had a bit problems with the chassis. It was sliding a lot, and so I've lost lot of position, and then I had to catch up everything, and I've done 7 at the end, which is not too bad because we are second at the championship and still 2 race more.
Reflecting on this period, Leclerc later credited his frequent on-track battles with Verstappen for strengthening both his experience and character. Observers noted the rapid nature of his development, describing his rise as remarkably fast for a driver who had not spent excessive time testing.
Charles, sei arrabbiato come se avessi perso, ma sei arrivato secondo.
Secondo è perdere, perché per me sono arrivato qua per vincere, e secondo è sempre, non è sempre buono perché volevo fare primo io.
In 2014, Leclerc made the transition from karting to junior single-seaters, signing with Fortec Motorsports in the Formula Renault 2.0 series at just 16 years old. He began his campaign in the Alps series, though his debut weekend at Imola proved challenging, with retirements in both races. However, he quickly found form, securing his first podium in the second race at Po.
I'm Charles Leclerc. I started karting in 2005 in mini kart in France, and I finished my karting years last year with Art Grand Prix in KZ1. This year I've started a new area with Fortec Motorsport in-house in the Formula Renault 2 Liters Championship. It's all new for me, so I'm learning a lot. There's quite a big difference between karting and car, because car is way more heavy, and there's all that things which counts.
Consistent performances followed, including 4th place finishes at the Red Bull Ring and a double podium at Spa-Francorchamps. His breakthrough victories came at Monza, where he claimed his first wins in car racing, including one from pole position. He later finished second in both races at Mugello behind Nick de Vries, before ending the season with points finishes at Jerez. Overall, Leclerc achieved 2 wins and 7 podiums, finishing runner-up in the championship to de Vries, an experienced third-year driver, while also securing the rookie's title ahead of Matevos Isaacin. Alongside his main campaign, Fortec entered Leclerc into selected rounds of the Eurocup Formula Renault 2.0 as a guest driver. During pre-season testing at Barcelona Catalunya, he set a new track record, further highlighting his potential. Although he finished outside the points on his debut at Spa-Francorchamps, he soon claimed a podium at the Nürburgring, finishing second to Dennis Olsen. Additional second-place finishes at the Hungaroring capped off an impressive partial campaign, in which he secured 3 podiums from just 6 starts.
It's time to do the champion!
In 2015, Charles Leclerc stepped up to the highly competitive FIA European Formula 3 Championship, joining Van Amersfoort Racing. The grid featured some of the strongest young talents in junior motorsport, making it an important proving ground for future Formula 1 drivers. His season began at Silverstone. After Felix Rosenqvist was disqualified for a technical infringement, Leclerc inherited pole position for the second and third races of the weekend. Although he finished 12th in his debut race, he quickly demonstrated his potential. In race 2 he secured second place, and in the third race he claimed his first Formula 3 victory after an intense battle with Antonio Giovinazzi.
We had an amazing start this season. We did great things in the beginning of the season.
checkered flag is at the ready, and it is going to be a win for Charles Leclerc. Van Amersfoort proves it can win with or without Max Verstappen, and that's a good result for the team. Charles Leclerc is victorious at Silverstone in round 3 of the championship.
Leclerc continued to build momentum later in the season at the Hockenheimring. There he achieved 3 consecutive podium finishes, including victory in a rain-affected third race where he overtook Rosenqvist. His consistency continued at Po, where he extended his streak to 8 podium finishes in a row. Among them was a third-place result in the prestigious Po Grand Prix, the final race of that weekend. However, the season was not without setbacks. At Monza, Leclerc suffered his first retirement of the year after colliding with Jake Dennis in the second race. Despite the disappointment, he bounced back quickly and returned to the podium in the shortened final race.
Now let's try and piece it together. Stroll is 5th on the grid, so he moves across. He's in the middle of the road, Charles Leclerc up alongside him, and again he just moves across. He gets airborne, he breaks front and rear suspension, but if Charles Leclerc has got away with that without any damage, then I'll be astonished, because that was quite an impact and it lifted Stroll's car off the road, but he just moved right across on Leclerc, didn't he?
One of the defining moments of his campaign came at Spa-Francorchamps. Starting 6th on the grid, Leclerc fought his way to victory in race 1 during a fierce 3-way battle with Rosenqvist and Giovinazzi. The win moved him into the championship lead, and he added another podium in the third race of the weekend. At the Nürburgring, Leclerc further strengthened his title challenge by taking pole position and winning race 1 before securing another podium finish. After 6 rounds of the championship, he held more than 40-point advantage over Giovinazzi. However, his momentum was interrupted at Zandvoort when he collided with Lance Stroll in race 2, forcing his team to replace the chassis of his Dallara F314. From that point onward, Leclerc struggled to return to the podium during the remaining 4 rounds.
But round 13 of the FIA Formula 3 European Championship is going to be won by Van Amersfoort Racing and by Charles Leclerc. Last year, Van Amersfoort did 3 out of 3 with Max Verstappen. Race 1 is won by Charles Leclerc for Van Amersfoort ahead of Felix Rosenqvist 2nd. Alex Albon takes 3rd position. Really good drive by him. Santino Ferrucci 4th. 5th, Jake Dennis. And George Russell 6th.
Despite several strong performances, including 4th-place finishes at both the Red Bull Ring and the Nürburgring, he gradually slipped down the standings. By the end of the season, he finished 4th overall in the championship behind Felix Rosenqvist, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Jake Dennis. Nevertheless, Leclerc secured the rookie title and ended the season with 4 victories and 13 podium finishes. Motorsport.com journalist Valentin Currenzi later ranked him as the standout driver of the year. Following the European F3 season, Leclerc competed in the prestigious Macau Grand Prix with Van Amersfoort Racing. After qualifying 3rd, he finished 2nd in the qualification race behind Rosenqvist after Giovinazzi received a penalty. This result placed him on the front row for the main event. In the Grand Prix itself, Leclerc once again finished 2nd to Rosenqvist after a race-long duel. Afterward, he described the result as important for rebuilding his mental strength following a difficult end to his F3 campaign.
Take a look at the result then of the Formula 3, the big headline event of 2015, and it's Rosenqvist, the winner. And I think when you've got the likes of Charlie Whiting here, it shows you what it means to Macau to have the very best of the best organising the event.
In December 2015, Leclerc participated in post-season GP3 testing with both Arc Grand Prix and Arden. Shortly afterward, he signed with Arc Grand Prix for the 2016 GP3 series. Around the same time, he also joined the Ferrari Driver Academy, marking the beginning of his official association with Ferrari. Leclerc made an immediate impact when the season began in Catalonia. He qualified 3rd on the grid and went on to win his debut race by more than 6 seconds. In the reverse grid 2nd race, he finished 9th. At the Red Bull Ring, he delivered another impressive performance by taking pole position by over half a second. From there, he dominated race 1, leading from the start to the finish. However, the 2nd race ended in disappointment when he collided with Jake Dennis and Tatiana Calderon, forcing him to retire and earning him a 5-place grid penalty for the following round. Starting 7th at Silverstone due to the penalty, Leclerc produced a strong recovery drive to finish 2nd in race 1 and 3rd in race 2.
Déjà, la ligne d'arrivée, c'est là où je prenais le bus depuis, enfin, c'est là où je prends le bus depuis que je suis petit pour aller en cours, donc c'est vrai que c'est quelque chose de spécial. Premier virage, c'est là où mes parents se sont mariés. En montant, j'ai les thermes, là où je m'entraîne physiquement. Il me supporte toute l'année.
Ouais, on a vu une belle interview avec lui aussi.
Ouais. Ensuite, il y a le casino, là où travaille mon frère. On arrive...
Mirabeau.
Ouais, Mirabeau, j'ai pas quelque chose de spécial. Ensuite, il y a la plage, là où je vais chaque été.
The championship battle continued to intensify at the Hungaroring. After finishing sixth in the first race, Leclerc secured another podium in race 2. Meanwhile, race winner Alexander Albon moved into the championship lead. At the Hockenheimring, Leclerc received a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Giuliano Alessi during qualifying. Despite the setback, he finished 5th in race 1, just behind Albon. In race 2 he finished 3rd, and with Albon retiring from the race, Leclerc regained the championship lead.
And there is your top 3 in the first race of 2016. So just missing out on the points, we had Essikan in 11th and Parry in 12th, Gonda, who was quick in practice. But it's all about our winner, who in under 40 minutes has comfortably beaten all of his rivals. He takes the embrace of his mechanics and the congratulations. ART, so used to winning, of course.
At Spa-Francorchamps, Leclerc once again claimed pole position and successfully defended the lead to win race 1 while holding off pressure from Jake Dennis. He later finished 6th in the second race. Another pole position followed at Monza. In the first race, he finished 4th, ahead of key title rivals Alexander Albon and Antonio Fuoco. The second race ended early for him after a collision with teammate Nairo Fukuzumi. Leclerc continued his qualifying dominance at Sepang by securing his 3rd consecutive pole position. He finished 3rd in race 1 and 5th in race 2, extending his championship lead to 29 points over Albon heading into the final round.
For your winner, Charles Leclerc, absolutely superb stuff. He was confident, and he lifts the winner's trophy. A wonderful first-time podium for GP3, and one for the mantelpiece for Nairo Fukuzumi. Must be such a relief to transition into European racing, and not only do that, but to transition right to the top of the order in 3rd. Another one for the album. Great to see Ferrari top brass applauding Charles' victory. And the 18-year-old is spraying the champagne at the end of 40 minutes relatively.
The title was decided at the season finale in Yas Marina. Leclerc clinched the championship in race 1 after Albon retired from the race. Leclerc himself suffered race-ending damage following a collision with Santino Ferrucci, but the result was enough to secure the title. He dedicated the championship to his late godfather, Jules Bianchi. With 3 victories and 8 podium finishes, Leclerc described the season as amazing. He also admitted it was the first time in his junior career that he truly felt the pressure of fighting for a championship, adding that the experience helped him learn how to handle that pressure moving forward.
Donc Charles Leclerc, GP3, pilote de GP3 et membre de Ferrari Driver Academy, GP3 pilot and member of Ferrari Driver Academy. En tant que jeune pilote, comment vivez-vous votre passion pour ce sport?
Super in English or?
English?
I can do it in English so everyone understands. Yeah, well, it's amazing. First, it's amazing to be here. And yeah, I live it really nicely. I love what I do, so obviously it's easier to travel all over the world.
Yes.
No problem. Yeah, actually it's quite a good year for me. We won in LMP2, so it's not the overall classification.
After winning the GP3 title in 2016, Charles Leclerc stepped up to the newly introduced FIA Formula 2 Championship in 2017, joining Prema Racing alongside fellow Ferrari Driver Academy driver Antonio Fuoco. Leclerc immediately made an impression at the opening round in Sakhir. On his debut weekend, he secured pole position for the feature race and finished 3rd. In the reverse grid sprint race, he made a bold strategic call by pitting mid-race, something rarely seen in sprint events. Even after giving up a 9-second lead, he charged back through the field, overtaking 13 drivers in just 9 laps to claim his first Formula 2 victory. At Barcelona, Leclerc again started from pole and successfully defended his position against Luca Giotto to win the feature race despite experiencing radio problems during the event. He later finished 4th in the sprint race. His home round in Monte Carlo proved far less successful. Although he qualified on pole, suspension failure forced him to retire from the feature race, and contact with Norman Nato ended his sprint race as well. Despite maintaining his lead in the championship standings, Leclerc described the weekend as hugely disappointing.
D'abord, permets-moi de te féliciter pour ta saison et pour ton titre. C'est vraiment une saison incroyable. Si on t'avait dit en début d'année que tu allais écraser le championnat comme tu l'as fait, qu'est-ce que tu aurais dit?
Non, j'y aurais pas cru parce que bien sûr la Formule 2 avec GP2 c'est une catégorie très difficile pour un rookie. Les gommes Pirelli sont très difficiles à apprendre. Enfin, plus on a d'expérience avec ces pneus, mieux on les pilote.
The next round in Baku carried deep personal meaning. Leclerc dedicated his pole position to his father, Hervé, who had recently passed away. He went on to win the feature race and crossed the line first in the sprint race as well, but a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags dropped him to second place behind Nato. Leclerc continued his strong run at Spielberg, converting another pole position into victory in the feature race while holding off pressure from teammate Fuoco and Nicolas Latifi of Dams. However, a collision with Fuoco in the sprint race slightly reduced his championship advantage over Oliver Rowland to 49 points at the halfway stage of the season. At Silverstone, Leclerc equaled an F2 record by claiming his 6th consecutive pole position. Despite dealing with multiple technical issues during the race including brake and exhaust fires, he still managed to win the feature race. In Budapest, Leclerc was disqualified from pole position due to a technical infringement and had to start the feature race from last place. He fought back to finish 4th, repeating the same result in the sprint race, though he remained behind title rival Rowland in both. Leclerc again took pole position at Spa-Francorchamps and dominated the feature race, finishing with a 25-second margin. However, he was later disqualified because of excessive skid block wear. Starting 19th in the sprint race, he recovered to finish 5th. Drama followed at Monza when Leclerc and Nyck de Vries collided while battling for the lead on the final lap of the feature race after a late safety car restart, leaving both drivers outside the points.
Il y a pas mal de préparation physique dans toute la première partie de la saison pour être préparé du mieux possible pour la première saison en F1. Et ensuite aussi beaucoup de préparation sur toutes les procédures parce qu'il y en a quand même beaucoup plus qu'en Formule 2. Et ensuite essayer de s'acclimater le plus rapidement possible à ces nouvelles voitures. Ce sera très important. C'est vrai que c'est une première année, mais bon, je suis là pour montrer ce que je vaux et j'ai vraiment envie de rapporter le meilleur résultat possible au team. Donc il va falloir bosser et essayer d'être...
Heading into the penultimate round at Jerez, Leclerc held a 59-point lead over Rowland and needed both pole position and victory in the feature race to secure the championship. He delivered exactly that. After claiming his 8th pole of the season, he held off a late attack from Rowland to become the then youngest F2 champion at 19 years and 356 days old. He also became the 3rd rookie champion in the series history, following Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, and Nico Hülkenberg. At the final round on Yas Island, Leclerc inherited 2nd place in the feature race after both Rowland and his teammate Fuoco were disqualified. Starting 7th in the sprint race, he made a decisive move on Alexander Albon on the final lap to secure his 7th victory of the season, matching the record for most wins. His dominant campaign earned him the FIA Rookie of the Year award in 2017. Over the course of the season, Leclerc recorded 7 wins, 10 podium finishes, and 8 pole positions, finishing the championship 72 points ahead of runner-up Artem Markelov.
Please welcome the FIA Rookie of the Year, the 2017 Formula 2 champion, Charles Leclerc. And Tom Christensen will make the presentation to our Rookie of the Year. Tom. Charles Leclerc, Rookie of the Year. And really, what a couple of years. GP2 and then straight through F2 this season. At what stage in your F2 campaign, and you tied up the title with a couple of rounds to go, at what stage did you know that you had the Formula One place booked?
Well, actually, very late. I learned the news in the third day of test in Abu Dhabi, so obviously very, very late. But I have the good surroundings with obviously Ferrari and Nicolas Todd also that is managing me, so I knew that if I was doing the right job on track, then they will take care of finding me a place in Formula One, and luckily they did, so it's great.
In 2016, Leclerc joined the Ferrari Driver Academy and became a development driver for both Ferrari and Haas. 2 months later, he completed his first test of Ferrari's Fiorano circuit behind the wheel of the Ferrari F14T. As part of his duties with Haas, he took part in several Friday practice sessions during the 2016 Formula One season, driving in the opening practice sessions of the British, Hungarian, German, and Brazilian Grands Prix. After impressing Ferrari during these appearances, he completed his first official test for the team at Silverstone in the SF16H. Following his GP3 championship victory that year, there were rumors that Leclerc could move directly into Formula One with Haas. However, team principal Günther Steiner dismissed the speculation, confirming that the young Monegasque driver would instead continue his development in F2.
I didn't expect it coming into the season to have such a positive year from the beginning to the end. Performance has been great, and yeah, it's been a great year overall. I need to thank obviously the team for the amazing car they've given me all year long. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to next year.
During the 2017 Formula One season, Leclerc continued to gain experience with Ferrari. He participated in the mid-season test at the Hungarian, driving the SF70H and completing 98 laps while setting the fastest time on the first day. Ferrari driver Kimi Räikkönen praised the young driver's performance afterward, noting that adapting quickly to an unfamiliar car was not easy and expressing confidence that Leclerc had a bright future ahead of him. Leclerc also took part in additional free practice sessions with Sauber later in the season, appearing at the Malaysian, United States, Mexican, and Brazilian GP as he continued preparing for his eventual full-time Formula One debut.
Avant la saison, on m'aurait dit tu gagneras le championnat, tu auras le record de pole en une saison, plus 6 victoires. J'aurais dit non, c'est pas possible. C'est le résultat de beaucoup de boulot de ma part et de la part du team. Donc ça fait vraiment plaisir de concrétiser ce championnat à Jerez la semaine dernière. C'est vraiment top. Là, ce soir, on fait une soirée pour fêter ça. Et ouais, je réalise petit à petit. Après, c'est vrai que c'est un peu difficile à réaliser parce qu'il reste une course dans le championnat. Il y a toujours le championnat équipe.
Charles Leclerc stepped into Formula One in 2018 after signing as a full-time driver for Sauber, replacing Pascal Wehrlein and partnering Marcus Ericsson. When he lined up at the Australian Grand Prix, he became the first driver from Monaco to compete in Formula One since Olivier Beretta in 1994. Leclerc qualified 18th for his debut race and finished 13th.
In Formula 2 I've learned massively. Obviously it has been an amazing year for me professionally, but a very, very difficult year personally because I've lost my father. So it has not been an easy year, but all in all, with the results we have had a great year. A great experience. It was my first year with pit stops, so this has been a very good experience to prepare me to Formula One. Yeah, to have a first experience with these Pirelli tires. My favorite driver was Ayrton Senna. He has been a very inspirational person to me. My father was a big fan of it, and he kind of gave me his passion, even though I've never had the chance to see him in reality. But obviously, I've read a lot of books and seen a lot of movies.
The opening rounds proved challenging. He failed to score points in Bahrain and China, but his breakthrough came at the Azerbaijan GP, with an impressive 6th-place finish. Leclerc became the first Monegasque driver to score Formula One points since Louis Chiron in 1950. He added another point with a 10th-place finish in Spain. His first home race in Monaco ended in disappointment. In the closing laps, a brake failure forced Leclerc into the back of Brendan Hartley at the Nouvelle Chicane, damaging his car and causing the first retirement of his Formula One career.
Hello, I'm Charles Leclerc, driving for Alfa Romeo Sauber F1 team. I will take you around my home Grand Prix in Monaco on F1 2018.
So here we are in Monaco, start finish line and then braking for turn 1, always pretty tricky because it's quite bumpy and you also need to have a very good exit because then it's uphill all the way to the casino, then actually a quite quick section here with a left-hander and then the right-hander where you need to avoid a bump in the exit, otherwise you get a little bit of wheel spin.
Despite the setback, Leclerc soon found consistency. He secured points in 3 consecutive races in Canada, France, and Austria. However, the middle part of the season proved difficult, as he endured a 5-race stretch without scoring. This period included 3 retirements, a loose wheel at the British Grand Prix, suspension damage after contact with Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez in Hungary, and a multi-car crash in Belgium. After the Belgian incident, Leclerc credited the Halo safety device with protecting him from serious injury, saying he was grateful to have it above his head.
Being a Formula 1 driver, there are quite a lot of things that changes. The media attention is a lot bigger. There's always quite a shock at the beginning, but you need to get used to it. Many people are looking at you, expecting some results. You have a bit more pressure, but you need to handle it. My road car is the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. I really enjoy this car. It has a great handling and very fun to drive. Thanks to all the Alfa Romeo Sauber F1 team fans and see you soon on track. Ciao.
Later in the season, Leclerc returned to the points with 9th place in Singapore and an impressive 7th in Russia. Mechanical failure forced him out of the Japanese Grand Prix, and contact with Romain Grosjean ended his race in the United States. He finished the season strongly, however, with 3 consecutive 7th place finishes in Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. By the end of his rookie campaign, Leclerc had scored 39 points and finished 13th in the World Drivers' Championship, comfortably ahead of teammate Ericsson's 9 points. His performances also earned him the FIA Rookie of the Year award.
Worst moment, probably Shanghai. It was the 3rd race of the season where I was struggling a lot, and the best race is the one just after Shanghai, which is the 4th race with the 6th place in Baku was something very good for the whole team, and it gave me a lot of motivation. The Monaco Grand Prix was extremely special to me. I've grown up watching this Grand Prix, and to finally be driving in these streets in Formula 1, the streets that I've taken to go to school, was quite a strange feeling. It was a very nice weekend and a very nice way to show my friends and all the people that are in Monaco that don't completely understand my sport, that I've made it to the top category of this sport.
For the 2019 season, Leclerc was promoted to Ferrari, swapping seats with Kimi Räikkönen and partnering 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. He made his official race debut for Ferrari at the Australian Grand Prix, qualifying 5th and finishing in the same position. In Bahrain, Leclerc delivered a breakthrough performance. He secured his first pole position in Formula 1, becoming the 2nd youngest pole sitter in the sport's history. He dominated much of the race but suffered an engine problem with 10 laps remaining. Both Mercedes drivers passed him before the finish, leading Leclerc to take 3rd place, still enough to claim his first Formula 1 podium. Over the next few races, Leclerc finished 5th in China, Azerbaijan, and Spain. In China and Spain, he was instructed to allow Vettel through during the races as part of team strategy.
Ferrari has always been a very special place for me because for years I've been part of the FDA that helped me to build as a driver mentally and physically, and with the ultimate goal to join their team, which happened this year and which is a dream come true since child. I've always looked at the red car hoping to be there one day, and it's the realization of a dream. So it's amazing, and I will keep pushing forward to have the best result possible in the future.
At the Monaco Grand Prix, a team strategy mistake in qualifying left Leclerc starting only 16th at his home race. Attempting to recover positions during the race, he made an aggressive move on Nico Hülkenberg that resulted in a tire puncture, ultimately forcing him to retire. Leclerc returned to the podium soon after, qualifying and finishing 3rd at both the Canadian and French Grands Prix. In Austria, he again secured pole position and led much of the race before being overtaken by Max Verstappen in the closing laps. Their cars made contact during the decisive pass, but the stewards ruled it a racing incident, leading Leclerc to finish 2nd. The battle between Leclerc and Verstappen continued at the British Grand Prix, where the two fought wheel-to-wheel in one of the season's most exciting duels. Leclerc ultimately finished third, securing his fourth consecutive podium finish. At the German Grand Prix, a fuel system issue left him starting 10th on the grid. In the rain-affected race, he climbed to 4th place, but an early switch to dry tires caused him to lose grip and crash into the barriers. He followed that with a 4th place finish at the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Fantastic second place, putting as much pressure as he could on the winner, Valtteri Bottas of Finland. And what a victory from Charles Leclerc! His second in 8 days. What an extraordinary race! What amazing pressure!
During the 2019 season, Charles Leclerc firmly established himself as one of Formula One's brightest talents with Scuderia Ferrari. At the 2019 Belgian Grand Prix, he secured pole position and converted it into his maiden Formula One victory, holding off Lewis Hamilton to become the third youngest race winner in the sport's history at just 21 years old, as well as the first driver from Monaco to win a Formula One Grand Prix. The emotional triumph came just one day after the fatal accident of Antoine Hubert during the FIA race, and Leclerc dedicated the victory to his close friend. 1 week later, he repeated the feat at the 2019 Italian Grand Prix at Monza circuit. Starting from pole position, Leclerc resisted intense pressure from both Mercedes drivers to claim Ferrari's first home victory there since Fernando Alonso in 2010. His rapid success earned him the Italian media nickname Il Predestinato, the predestined. Leclerc continued his strong qualifying form with another pole at the 2019 Singapore Grand Prix. However, an undercut strategy allowed teammate Sebastian Vettel to jump ahead during the pit stops, leaving Leclerc frustrated with what he described as an unfair call. Team principal Mattia Binotto later explained that Vettel had been pitted first to defend his position.
So finally, my first career win in Formula One. Obviously, it doesn't feel as good as it should be considering the circumstances this weekend, but overall I'm extremely happy for the team. They deserve it. It hasn't been an easy season until now, but very happy to give the first victory to the team. And apart from that, obviously, since child, when I started first in karting, I was first dreaming of being a Formula One driver one day, and then this year with Ferrari, which was already incredible, and my first career win today. So it's a very good race, and really enjoyed driving out there today.
At the 2019 Russian Grand Prix, Leclerc secured his fourth consecutive pole position, but ultimately finished third after a virtual safety car period enabled both Mercedes drivers to leapfrog him during their pit stops. In the 2019 Japanese Grand Prix, he qualified second but suffered front-wing damage after colliding with Max Verstappen on the opening lap, eventually finishing sixth. Leclerc later inherited pole position at the 2019 Mexican Grand Prix following a penalty for Verstappen and finished fourth there, repeating that result at the 2019 United States Grand Prix. His race at the 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix ended in disappointment when contact with Vettel forced both Ferraris out of the race, dropping Leclerc behind Verstappen in the standings. Binotto publicly criticized both drivers for the incident. Leclerc ended the year strongly by finishing third at the 2019 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, securing fourth place in the Drivers' Championship with 264 points, 20 for more than Vettel. Over the season, he claimed victories, 10 podium finishes and 7 pole positions, winning the FIA Pole Trophy and receiving the Lorenzo Bandini Trophy. Ferrari also rewarded his performances by extending his contract through the end of 2024.
Hi guys, it's been a dream week for me. Actually beyond my dreams I've done since child. Winning here in Monza with Ferrari felt absolutely unbelievable. The podium was just incredible. So many people underneath the podium, and so many of you cheering for only one team. You are the best. Thank you so much for making this weekend so special, and I hope some victories will come soon.
The 2020 season was heavily disrupted by the global COVID-19 pandemic, leading to a delayed and shortened championship. Ferrari struggled competitively with the SF1000. At the 2020 Austrian Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc qualified 7th before climbing to 3rd through bold overtaking moves after a late safety car. A time penalty for Hamilton later promoted him to 2nd place. At the Styrian Grand Prix, Leclerc collided with Vettel on the opening lap, eliminating both cars. He later accepted full responsibility. He secured another podium at the British Grand Prix when Valtteri Bottas suffered a puncture late in the race.
Hello guys, P2 for this race, very good surprise. I definitely did not expect a result like this. On the other hand, we must not forget where we are in terms of performance. There's still a long way to go, a lot of work, but we'll keep fighting, keep working. As the race has shown today, anything is possible. Obviously don't expect results like this every weekend because we might not be as lucky as we have been this weekend, but there was also a great teamwork, great strategy, great setup, and we took every opportunities we had on the track, which is very important in tough times.
At Ferrari's home race, the Italian Grand Prix, Leclerc crashed heavily into the barriers at Curva Parabolica while running fourth, bringing out a red flag. Later in the year, however, he produced a consistent run of results, scoring points in 7 consecutive races from the Tuscan Grand Prix to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Strong drives included top 5 finishes at the Portuguese Grand Prix, Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and Turkish Grand Prix. In Turkey, he narrowly missed the podium after attempting a last-lap overtake on Sergio Perez for second place.
This year will change quite a bit compared to last year for me. Last year everything was new, the whole team, I had to discover the whole team, even though I was in the Ferrari Drivers Academy. Everything seems very big and very new to adapt to all the system, all the procedures. So this year, this will be a bit easier, but on the other hand, there will be a lot of expectations. So yeah, I've worked extremely hard to be at the level I want to be this year, and hopefully it will be a positive year for me.
At the Sakir Grand Prix, Leclerc's race ended after a first-lap collision with Perez, which resulted in a 3-place grid penalty for the following event. Ferrari's struggles continued at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where he finished 13th. He concluded the season 8th in the Drivers' Championship with 98 points, 65 points ahead of Vettel. Ferrari finished 6th in the Constructors' Championship, their worst result since 1980.
It's the closest I can get to real racing. So I'm very happy. I have a simulator at home, which helped me to go through lockdown easier, and managed to keep my skills trained, even though it's not the same thing as a real thing. As I said earlier, it's the closest you can get. So I've trained quite a lot. We've had also quite a lot of fun. So it was good, and also it keeps entertaining the fan that are missing the real racing. They can still get to see some racing.
For the 2021 Formula One season, Leclerc remained with Ferrari and was joined by new teammate Carlos Sainz Jr. At his home race, the Monaco Grand Prix, Leclerc produced a sensational qualifying lap to take pole position, his first since the 2019 Mexican Grand Prix. However, after crashing at La Piscine late in qualifying, a hidden drive shaft issue prevented him from starting the race the next day. He bounced back the following round at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, again qualifying on pole before finishing 4th. Ferrari struggled with tire degradation at the French Grand Prix, forcing an extra pit stop and leaving Leclerc down in 16th.
My best memory of the Monaco Grand Prix is definitely my first time I ever done the Grand Prix in Formula One there. Was very, very special. It was a race that I've always been looking at growing up, as it's my city where I've lived all my life, and always dreaming of being part of this Grand Prix. So it was a very, very special moment.
One of his standout performances came at the British Grand Prix. Starting 4th, Leclerc seized the lead on the opening lap after overtaking Valtteri Bottas and capitalizing on a collision between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. He controlled the race for much of the afternoon before Hamilton finally passed him with 3 laps remaining. Leclerc crossed the line in 2nd, securing his only podium finish of the season. At the rain-hit Hungarian Grand Prix, he retired after a first-lap collision with Lance Stroll, dropping him behind Sainz in the championship standings.
Hello guys, well, 50% of me is very happy, 50% of me is disappointed, but overall it's been a very, very strong weekend for the team. Just a very strong pace, especially in the race, and it was quite unexpected to be fighting for the win today. Unfortunately, it slipped away from us 2 laps to the end, but overall, yeah, quite happy with the way it has gone. Incredibly happy with the way the team is working, with the way we are working together, and we are really doing good steps in the right direction, and we'll keep on pushing. Thanks so much for your support.
At Ferrari's home race, the Italian Grand Prix, Leclerc finished 4th after a penalty for Sergio Perez reshuffled the results. After scoring further points in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, he entered the final round 5th in the championship. At the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, a risky pit stop during a virtual safety car dropped him down the order, and he finished 10th. The result allowed both Norris and Sainz to move ahead of him in the standings, leaving Leclerc 7th overall with 159 points, marking the first time in his Formula racing career that he had been outscored by a teammate.
Pince à roulette. 23. Monaco. Red. Pasta. Rare. Tortellini. Nothing. Bonjour, je m'appelle Charles Leclerc et je pilote pour la Scuderia Ferrari. Monégasque, fast and crazy sometimes.
Major regulation changes in 2022, particularly the return of ground effect aerodynamics, allowed Ferrari to emerge as a serious challenger to Red Bull Racing early in the season. Leclerc began strongly by taking pole position at the Bahrain Grand Prix and converting it into victory after an intense battle with Verstappen. The win marked both his and Ferrari's first triumph since 2019 and made Leclerc the first driver from Monaco to lead the Formula One World Drivers' Championship.
Guys, the first weekend is over, and is over in the best way possible. First 1-2 of the season. It just feels incredible to be back on the top step of the podium after such an incredible weekend. It's been a great weekend on my side, from FP1 to the race. Yesterday in quali a bit trickier, but then today we managed to do the perfect race. It wasn't easy. With Max we had some good battles after the first stop especially, but managed to always get the DRS out of turn 1 and overtake him back before turn 4. And I managed to keep that lead. And then, of course, the last safety car, I wasn't happy at all to see it. But yeah, we managed to keep the lead there too. And then I could manage the race until the end. It's a great result for the team.
Another close fight with Verstappen followed at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, where he finished second. He then dominated the Australian Grand Prix from pole position, securing victory and achieving his first career Grand Slam, pole, fastest lap, race win, and every lap led. This result extended his championship advantage to 34 points over George Russell and 46 over Verstappen. He returned to the top step of the podium at the Austrian Grand Prix, defeating Max Verstappen in a fierce battle for victory. The result lifted the Ferrari driver back to second place in the championship at the halfway point of the season.
It obviously feels good. The last 5 races have been very difficult on my side. Penalties, strategy, struggling with the strategy sometimes, and obviously the penalty that we've had because of our reliability problems. So this victory feels good. Unfortunately, with Carlos we've had a reliability problem, so it shows that it is still something we need to work on. But now looking forward to the next 2 races just before the summer break, and hopefully with 2 victories again. Thank you.
Despite the growing championship gap, Leclerc produced a strong run of form in the second half of the season. He secured 5 consecutive podium finishes, including second places from pole position at both Monza and Singapore. During this period, Verstappen sealed the World Championship at the Japanese Grand Prix. At the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, he qualified 3rd behind Perez but executed a clever one-stop strategy to overtake the Red Bull driver during the race. The result secured second place for him in the 2022 World Drivers' Championship. Over the course of the season, Leclerc scored 308 points, finishing 146 points behind Verstappen but 62 points ahead of teammate Carlos Sainz Jr. He led all drivers with 9 pole positions and recorded 3 victories along with 11 podium finishes.
Ciao ragazzi, gara finita, Monza è sempre speciale, il podio è stato incredibile. La gara un po' di meno perché abbiamo perso partevamo in prima posizione, siamo finiti secondi, purtroppo è andata così, ho dato tutto come sempre, ci siamo fermati durante la virtual safety car.
Ferrari entered the 2023 season struggling to match the race pace and tire management of Red Bull Racing, who had carried their dominance over from the previous year. Ferrari showed flashes of speed at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where Leclerc secured pole position. He converted that pace into a second-place finish in the sprint race and 3rd in the main Grand Prix. However, mistakes returned at the Miami Grand Prix, where a crash in qualifying left him starting 7th, ultimately finishing in the same position.
We want to improve that. Last year was a good step forward. We need to do just the same this year and hopefully get the championship. That is the target for all the team, and it is the target for me too. Get more wins, hopefully be more consistent from the first race to the last race, and hopefully we'll get that title.
At his home race, the Monaco Grand Prix, Leclerc qualified well, but received a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Lando Norris during qualifying, eventually finishing 6th. The following round in Spain proved particularly difficult. Rain caused trouble at the Dutch Grand Prix, where he retired with damage. He then produced a run of consistent performances, finishing 4th at the Italian Grand Prix, the Singapore Grand Prix, and the Japanese Grand Prix. He followed this with 5th place in Qatar. Leclerc continued to show impressive qualifying speed, starting from pole again at the Mexico City Grand Prix. A first corner collision with Sergio Perez disrupted his race, but he still managed to finish 3rd.
Hey guys, so welcome home. This is a very special track for me. It's my home race, one of my favorite racetrack of the season. Start finish line, that's where I used to take the bus when I was younger to go to school. On the left here is the building in which I have watched the my first ever Formula 1 race, which is really cool. And that's where my passion for motorsport started to grow. And this is a very nice section with the tightest corner of the season. Very, very tricky. You need to push the braking point as much as possible there. This is all very, very technical. There's no time to think.
In Brazil, he qualified on the front row, but crashed during the formation lap after a hydraulic failure at Verdura. One of his standout performances came at the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. Starting from pole, Leclerc was involved in a thrilling 3-way fight for the lead with Verstappen and Perez. He ultimately finished 2nd after overtaking Perez on the final lap, a move that earned him Formula One's Overtake Award. Leclerc capped off the season with another 2nd-place finish at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He ended the year 5th in the World Drivers' Championship with 206 points. He secured 5 pole positions and 6 podium finishes, underlining his exceptional qualifying pace despite Ferrari's inconsistent performance.
Here we are in Brazil for the last sprint weekend of the season. Always a very special weekend, very important to be at ease with the car straight away in FP1 because there's not much time to set up the car in the right way. Very special track, a very historical track, and obviously it is also the country of the one and only Ayrton Senna. I've always been a huge fan of Ayrton, and he's a legend forever. It's a track that I really enjoy, that has a lot of character, especially with those kind of curves that you can see on the outside and inside of the track.
Ahead of the 2024 F1 season, Charles Leclerc committed his future to Scuderia Ferrari by signing a contract extension that would keep him with the team beyond the major regulation changes planned for 2026. Leclerc returned to the podium at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix with a 3rd-place result. 2 weeks later, at the Australian Grand Prix, Ferrari celebrated a 1-2 finish, with Leclerc finishing 2nd behind teammate Carlos Sainz Jr. He then added further podiums with 3rd place at the Miami Grand Prix.
Welcome to Suzuka. I'll be driving the track around. Meanwhile, Carlos will do the commentator, as it's obviously his favorite track of the season, and one of mine, I think one of everybody. Really cool. Let's go.
This is actually a lot more downhill than what people think. When you're there running on the bike, it goes really downhill.
And this is the exact line you need to do.
Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Right.
Right.
This one two are flat out almost. This one you lift, and here you lift a little bit more.
And
Whoa! Did you have that ever there?
No. Let's say I'm more in
control. Doesn't let you rest the neck, and this corner is beautiful. Under the bridge, flat out. You're gonna prepare well for this braking, and you also spin.
No, that was for the style, Carlos. This was. Have you seen the fans in the grandstand?
A career-defining moment came at the Monaco Grand Prix, Leclerc's home race. Starting from pole position, he finally claimed victory on the streets of Monte Carlo, securing his first win at the event. In doing so, he became the first driver from Monaco to win the race since Louis Chiron in 1931, and the first Monegasque driver ever to win it in the Formula One World Championship. However, the momentum did not last. He retired from the Canadian Grand Prix due to power unit problems. At the Belgian Grand Prix, he started from pole position after a grid penalty from Max Verstappen and ultimately finished third following the disqualification of George Russell. Another podium followed with third place at the Dutch Grand Prix. One of the highlights of Ferrari's season arrived at the Italian Grand Prix, in front of the passionate tifosi. He delivered a surprise victory using a bold one-stop strategy, securing Ferrari's first home win since 2019. Leclerc then finished fifth at the Singapore Grand Prix before claiming his third victory of the season at the United States Grand Prix. A third-place finish followed at the Mexico City Grand Prix. The final rounds brought steady results. He finished fourth at the Las Vegas Grand Prix before ending the season with podium finishes at both the Qatar Grand Prix and the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the latter after charging from 19th on the grid. By the end of the season, Leclerc had secured third place in the Drivers' Championship with 356 points. He finished 66 points ahead of teammate Sainz in fifth. From the summer break onward, he scored more points than any other driver on the grid, concluding the campaign with 3 victories and 13 podium finishes.
Austin in Texas.
USA. This is your hand, no? That you use a lot.
Yes, I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed, yeah?
I'm right-handed, Carlos.
So,
Scotch it,
you're not
please.
going to be right-handed anymore.
What are you doing, Carlos? Carlos, you need to fix it to something, otherwise I
know.
can still use it.
I'm just making sure I remove all your hair from your body.
Oh,
like
no,
you did with me.
no, please. Don't do it too much. I don't have blood passing.
In 2025, Charles Leclerc entered the season alongside a new and highly decorated teammate, 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari's early season pace raised concerns, and Leclerc could only manage fourth-place finishes at both the Japanese Grand Prix and the Bahrain Grand Prix. He finally secured his first podium of the year at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, finishing third after a solid performance. At his home race, the Monaco Grand Prix, he delighted the local crowd by qualifying on the front row and finishing second. Further podiums followed, third place at the Spanish Grand Prix after a late safety car shuffled the order, and another third at the Austrian Grand Prix. In between, he finished fifth in the Canadian Grand Prix.
The main priority is to bring back Ferrari to the top.
We are the strongest pairing Formula One has probably ever had.
Ferrari has always been my one and only dream. And next one is to be world champion in red.
Misfortune returned at the Dutch Grand Prix. Running in fifth place, Leclerc's race ended after contact with rookie Kimi Antonelli at the Hugenholtzbach corner forced him into retirement. Further difficulties followed late in the year. A crash in qualifying at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix limited him to 9th place, and he finished 6th in the Singapore Grand Prix as concerns grew over the competitiveness of the SF25. In the United States, he took 5th in the sprint race before finishing 3rd in the main event at the United States Grand Prix, spending much of the race battling Lando Norris for 2nd place. The following round in Brazil brought more drama. Leclerc finished 5th in the sprint, but retired from 3rd in the main race after a collision with Antonelli and Piastri at the famous NAS.
It's always been my dad. I think he was very humble, so probably that's the lesson that I've been taking with me. A lot of the person I am today is thanks to my dad, so probably my dad. Yeah, on my side, I mean creativity and music, by example, that I love and that is a big part of my life, plays definitely an important role. I would say more than using it for racing, I use it to disconnect from racing, and is the place where I just find myself on my own, focus on the present moment and forget about everything else that is around. And that is important, to sometimes slow down and take time for yourself. So yeah, that's how I use music and that's how it's helpful for me.
By the end of the season, which also marked the conclusion of Formula One's ground effect era, Leclerc finished 5th in the Drivers' Championship with 242 points. He ended the year 86 points ahead of Hamilton, who placed 6th and secured 7 podium finishes compared to Hamilton's none. Across the 24-race calendar, Leclerc outscored his teammate in 19 Grand Prix. Looking ahead to the sweeping chassis and power unit regulation changes set for 2026, Leclerc made his ambitions clear, describing the coming era as now or never for his hopes of winning a World Drivers' Championship with Ferrari.